Hey everyone, it's Mario Time 1000, and it has been a long time since I've done an F1 diecast unboxing video. In fact, it's been about half a year. Sorry. In fact, in that time, I've only uploaded 3 other videos, so yeah, sorry about that. When I was a kid and I used to watch videos on YouTube, they all would always be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mate. I got school. I can't make an F1 or I can't make a YouTube video." And I was always like, "Bull crap." But now that it's here, yeah, school's for real. I haven't really been able to make videos. And specifically, I haven't really been able to buy F1 diecasts because they're expensive. That's why today we are going back to the basics in terms of F1 diecasts. If you recall, the very first F1 diecast video I ever made were on these cars right here. The Burago F1 cars. These are the cheapest F1 diecasts you can get. They're only about, or at least they were only about $13 to $15. Compare that to a Spark or Mini Champs, which is $80 to almost $120. Yeah, this is what I was going with back in 2017. And you know what? For what I knew at the time, I liked these. They didn't have the driver detail, which I always thought was really weird, but they were still pretty good. However, a year later, that would not be the case. First of all, I had dealt with Spark and Mini Champs diecast by then, but the Burago cars we got in 2017 were not very good. I don't think I went as into these diecasts as I should have in the video. They are so inaccurate. Unbelievably inaccurate. I'm going to have to move my camera because the shadow is really weird right now. I feel like I've never seen this shadow effect on them, but I guess I'm dealing with the very bright red Ferraris, which I don't think I've looked at on this table in a while. Anyway, these diecasts were incredibly inaccurate. You remember in 2017, they made the cars longer. I'll show it here. These cars are not longer than the 2016 Burago. And also, they made the front and rear wheels wider, and once again, they are not wider. So these were very disappointing. And in 2018, I was really worried about buying these Ferrari diecasts because at the time, I thought Burago was the only way you could get a Ferrari in 1/43 scale. Of course, I figured out that that was wrong, but the other ones by like, I can't even remember, like LockSmart and like TCM, those were crazy expensive. I could not find any reasonably priced ones, so I had to go with Burago. Luckily, Burago came out with a more model-type F1 diecast. Here are the 2018 cars. They are still not as great of detail in terms of the Mini Champs, or like the Mini Champs and the Sparks. The bits and bobs are a little bit fatter, so they're more sturdier, so they don't break off as easily. These are still toys. But they were good. I liked these. They had the driver detail, and they had they were the proper size tires, and importantly, they were just the same length as the other 2018 F1 diecasts I had. So yeah, I was pretty happy with them. However, Burago in 2018 still released the driverless toy versions of these cars. I don't have any. I didn't buy them. I didn't feel like it was necessary, but they did release them. And I'm wondering how those toy versions stack up to the model ones. And that's what we're going to do today. Right here, I have 2 Ferraris from 2019. Right here is what I'm going to dub the toy version. That's the same box that these driverless cars came in. Here's the box for that one right here. So this is what I'm going to dub the toy version. And I have the more model version of the car. And that's the same box that the ones I got from last year came in. And it comes in a nice stand, which all these Spark and Mini Champs do. So they're clearly trying to replicate the presentation of the F1 models from Spark and Mini Champs. So not only am I going to review these 2 cars, but I'm also going to compare them. I'm not sure how different they are. As you could see, the box is the same length, but the box from the 2017 is also just about the same length, just a little bit shorter. So I'm not sure if the box is hiding that this Ferrari is shorter or not. We're going to figure that out. It wouldn't really make sense if it was, because that means they'd have to make a different mold. But whatever, it's time to get into this video. We'll start with the Sebastian Vettel car, which of course is the toy one, I guess. Alright, before we get into the car itself, it's already really dusty. I've only had this for a few days. We're going to take a look at the box. It's pretty much the same kind of box as you get with every Burago for car of this variety, specifically Ferrari. Back when I first started making videos, they did Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes. I know they don't do Mercedes cars anymore, but they may still do Red Bull. They did at least last year. Important thing about this box that's worth noting is that it's 3+ ages 3 and up. So that's important. We will come back to that. The only difference between this box and the 2017 one I have is that on the inside, it is Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc and not Kimi Räikkönen. So let's get into this bad boy. Here is the box again. Who cares? Get out of here. And here is the car itself. And of course, it's on screws, so I'm going to have to unscrew it, and then we will get into it. Man, this lighting looks crazy on this car. It looks more orange than red. And here it is out of the box. The Sebastian Vettel SF90. I should have prepared for this. Oh, yeah, I threw the box off the clip. It's the SF90H, or no, just SF90, from the 2019 season of competition. And it's a very, very nice looking diecast. I really got to say, Burago, even though this is the kids' version, Burago have really stepped it up since 2017. These cars look pretty good. They still look a bit cheaper. They still got the very thick suspension pieces right here that aren't quite accurate, and also they're a little bit oversprayed. You can see the red on there, but it still does look really nice, and I think these 2019 cars just look absolutely fantastic. The Daniel Kvyat car that I have looks really nice. Another weird bit on the halo. It looks like overspray, but I'm thinking that that's accurate. Oh, geez, it's been a long time since I've had to record a video where the focus didn't work. You can see it right there. There's a little bit of red there. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but we'll have to see when we go into the next car. Always keen on looking at the airbox. The designers have gotten real fancy with these the last few years on F1 cars. But yeah, one of my problems with the 2018 car is that it looked a bit fat. I don't know if it was necessarily proportioned correctly. Here it is, right in this area. It just looked a little bit big and bulky. I feel like it doesn't look that bad this year. They've disguised it with the black bits. So Burago better be happy that Ferrari put those on the car last year, because those really, really enhanced the look. It's still a Burago car. Here's the bottom. The detail isn't as good as you're going to get on a Sparker Mini Champs, but you're really paying a pretty good price. This car is still only about $13. I think I paid $14 when I added the shipping. But yeah, it's a pretty nice looking car. I gotta say, it really does not look too bad. It's very, very nice. It'll do the job. If you're looking for spectacular quality, you buy the other ones, TCM or LockSmart, but you're going to be paying a hefty amount of money for that. So I think these will do just fine. They look good. So that'll lead us nicely into the model car, or I guess this is still technically a model, but I told you to look at how it said ages 3+ on the other box. This one says ages 14+. And this car is really good. So I'm really not sure how much is going to be different from this car to this car. I mean, besides the driver, I think that might be the only difference. I was really expecting this to be a shorter car. I expected Burago would cheapen out on the toy version, but no, they pulled out all the stops, so there's really not going to be a whole lot of differences, I think. And I didn't even notice, look at this rear wing detail. it is pretty good. They've got a whole little gap cut out of it. That's really good detail on there. These Burago cars have really jumped in quality since I started reviewing these cars. So it's obvious that my videos have helped. Just kidding. All right, looking around the box of this car, it's also the Australian GP. I don't think I mentioned that on the other car. 14 plus, as I mentioned. The box on this car is a lot nicer. There is the car. We got Ferrari Racing, same pictures that were on the back of the other car. Here's the front. Here's the top. And here's the bottom. You got your Lego mumbo jumbo. That's what I was trying to say. These cars are a bit difficult to slip out of the case, as I remember. That one came pretty good. And here it is. Let's take the casing off. This was actually very difficult to get off because it's just a very thin bit of black that you have to grip onto. All right, the case is off now, and you can see the car a lot better. Of course, I'm going to take it off the base, but you can see Australian GP, SF90, Charles Leclerc, and Burago. And nothing else is on this side, and nothing really is on the bottom except the screws and the blah, 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 the batch code. I don't know. Anyway, let's just let's get this car off the base. And here is the car off the base, and I should mention a few things before I go on. People always ask me, where do I get these cars? I got these two cars off of eBay. You can find them very easily. You just look up F1 Diecast, and you can find the Ferrari Diecast. If you be more specific and type in SF90, you'll also find them. That's how you find the other F1 Diecast. You got to be really specific about it. But these ones are incredibly easy to find. And the wheels move. People always ask me about that. I don't think I pointed out as much as I should. I'm super used to the wheels not moving on a Spark and Mini Champs diecast. However, other people are not, because F1 diecasts are pretty hard to find sometimes if you don't know how to look for them. Maybe I'll do another video on that sometimes. But this video is a comparison, and I gotta say, this car is exactly the same. The only difference is that this one has a driver, but the detail on said driver is not very good. If you turn it over here, you can see, I'm going to have to zoom in, see if this works out. I really ought to be using the zoom function a lot more and then not just holding it close, because look how shiz that looks. The driver body is completely unpainted. The helmet is the only bit that's painted, and the helmet's really the only thing you can see, but it still looks really weird if you angle it this way. However, it's probably going to be sitting on a shelf like this, but even like then, you can sort of see that it's very weird, and the car isn't wonky. I think my camera is wonky right now, so I apologize for that. But other than that, this car is exactly the same, except, you know, it says 16 on it, but it's the same car. You're really only paying for a better box and a driver figure. And as I scan over this car, that really leads me to, I gotta say, why would you buy this one? Why would you buy the driverless car? It's only, I got this for just a few more dollars than I got this one for. So is it really worth buying the driverless car for a little less money, but, you know, less accurate because it doesn't have a driver in it? I mean, if you're a kid and you're racing cars around, I mean, F1 cars have drivers in it, so it's not incredibly accurate. But other than that, I mean, this is the same car, and I've looked pretty extensively over this one. You're really getting the exact same car. There's no extra sponsors, like sponsors they wouldn't want to put on a kid's car or something like that. It is really interesting. In terms of the car, like itself, not doing a comparison, it's still a really nice looking car. I really like the way it looks. The front wing looks really good. Obviously, I say this every video, you're not getting a Spark or a Mini Champs. I've said it in this video. But for what you are paying for, it is a very good looking car. Get in there on the sort of the winglet bits here. Set 90 years. We've got soft tires. Common stuff with the Burago cars. It's weird. This is painted. Oh, you can actually tell the difference. I just realized this. I think I've talked about this before, But this right here is die-cast. You can see the way the red looks. This right here is plastic, and they just painted that on there. It's a slightly different shade of red. You should be able to see that. But yeah, other than that, you know, that there really isn't that much to say. It's a pretty good-looking car. I really like this. I'm glad I got these. But I would say if you can, buy this one. You're getting the same amount of detail as this, but you're getting the driver figure, so it's more accurate. I think the 16 also looks better on this car, but I think that's just because they needed to make the 5 a little bit wider so it fit their, I don't know, template, if they have one. But yeah, you know, I think the driver really does make it look a lot better. You know, even though it's not painted very well, you can't really see that from over here. But no matter what you buy, you're getting a pretty good Burago car this time around. Let's take a look at the past Burago cars. Take a look at last year's 2018 car. This is Kimi Räikkönen because it makes sense. It's about the same length. The rear wing is definitely a lot bigger. The front wing is definitely a lot bigger, so that's accurate. That's good. I really like the matte finish that they put on the 2019 Ferrari. It makes it look a little bit more orange than red, but it's really the only change they've made to the Ferrari since like 2010, ever since Marlboro stopped putting their logo on the car and they were just sort of there. The Ferraris kind of look the same. So I really like that they put the matte finish on there. But in terms of a livery, it's still just a red car. Go back even further to the 2017 car, and this just looks like a dinky little car. The tires on this car are supposed to be the same length. But yeah, you can tell this 2017 car, it's just not very good. I didn't even point it out, though. But one of my least favorite or most talked about inaccuracies is the T-cam, the T-bar here. And unfortunately, both of them are black. I've talked about this a million times. Burago, they've done it a lot. They did it on the Red Bulls. In the 2017 Ferraris, they actually did it correctly. You can see that it is black on Sebastian Vettel and red on Kimi Räikkönen, but they didn't do it this year. And I don't even think they did it last year either. Where did I throw that off to? Yeah, they didn't do it last year. Both of them are black last year, too. That's unfortunate, but it's really not that big of a deal. And that's really all I got to say. People love the Ferraris, so I'm glad I can show them off to you. These are two pretty good diecasts. I really like them, but this is just so pointless. I don't know why they would. I don't even know why they'd make it. I guess it probably cost them a little less to put no driver in the car, but they should just stick to the model one, I think. Although, or maybe they should just put the model one in that box. I don't know. But at the same time, it probably gets them more money if they sell two versions of it that are pretty much exactly the same. So that is all I have to say about these Burago F1 diecasts. Thank you guys for watching. I'm not really sure how many more 2019 F1 diecasts I'm going to get. I plan on getting more, but I'm not sure. And as for 2018, yeah, we'll see about that. 2018 is old news now, way old news. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to say about that. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which hopefully won't be in a month.